Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I bring you this makeup look right here. Really hope you guys like what you're seeing. I love the way that the eyes turned out. I really wanted it to be like a very fun, warm, neutral eye look, and then that way you can pair it with any other lipstick shade that you'd like. This can also be like a holiday look. Maybe you guys are getting together for like a Zoom family holiday time, or maybe you were just wanting to get ready and dressed up for Christmas or whatever it is that you're celebrating, if you're celebrating anything, or if you're just wanting to get ready to feel normal for one day. That's totally fine. I just wanted to give you guys a look that's neutral, that you can pair with anything, and this is that look right here. So I really hope you guys enjoy what you're seeing. Now let's get right into how I got here. All right, so let's start off with a bare face. I don't have anything on my face aside from my daily moisturizers, sunscreen, that kind of thing. We're gonna start off with the brows. I love starting off with the brows. I've always liked it. Some people do it like after they do their base. I love to do it before anything, just because that is, for me, like the brows and the eyes, the most time consuming. So I like to get those out of the way. So the way that I've been doing my brows lately is with this nutrient-rich primer for fuller looking brows. This is the Brow Vogue Conditioning Primer from Benefit. I just start off by applying it onto the brows and just kind of getting the hairs in the direction that I'm going to want them in once I apply my brow pencil. Just makes things a little easier. I was thinking about the evolution of my brows the other day and I was like, oh my gosh. At one point I got really tweezer happy and it got to the point where like I had almost no brows, like just a very tiny little thin brow is what I was left with. Learn from that. I really wish I wouldn't have done that because I do feel like it affected my brows. Like when you rip them out and you rip them with the root intact, those are probably not gonna come back. I'm just gonna wait for this to dry a little bit because it does stay a little wet, and since my next step is a brow pencil, I need for this base to be dry, otherwise the pencil will just glide through and it just won't leave any pigment on the skin. All right, now for brow pencil. This part's easy. This is the Precisely My Brow Pencil from Benefit. This one is in the shade 3.5. I was using the shade 5, but since I've added lighter color to my hair, 3.5 I like better now that my hair is a little lighter. So just starting off here along the front, just very lightly flicking this upward. And then I like to take care of the bottom shape first just because it's easier. Once you start like here along the front, you kind of get a good idea of what direction you want your brow to go in after. So just following the shape of my brow as I have it now. All right, so now I'm gonna clean up my brow using a concealer. This is the Tarte Shape Tape in this shade Medium Honey, which is 35H. It's the one that I use underneath the eyes too. Just gonna take a little bit of that, grab it with my flat definer brush. This one is the E15 from Sigma Beauty. Grab a little bit of that. And then I always bring it down right here to cover up the darkness that's just here along the inner corner of my eye. So I'm already concealing underneath the eyes before I get to actually conceal. I find that when I don't do this and I don't bring the concealer down, or I don't apply concealer here along the inner corner, it looks just a little too dark, and so that adds to the under eye area just overall looking kind of dark still, you know, like not completely concealing. And then I go in with whatever's left over from cleaning up underneath the brow, and I apply that onto the entire mobile lid. Right, and then I'm taking my soft blend brush. This is the 60 brush, number 60 from Sigma Beauty. Grabbing a little bit of my loose powder. This is Fenty Beauty's Pro Filter Setting Powder in the shade Butter. Just taking a little tiny bit of that and setting the eyes. This also helps with blending. So if you are ever finding an issue with blending your eyeshadows, like let's say they're just not wanting to blend, or if you're getting like the skipped, like the little skid marks that you can sometimes get when blending out your eyeshadow, this helps tremendously. So if you set your eye with a little bit of translucent powder and then you start applying your eyeshadows, it's just going to make it that much easier to blend. Oh, I gotta take this off, I'm so hot. All right, and for this look, I'm gonna be using the Natasha Denona Mini Nude Palette. I love this little guy. And I'm gonna start off with the deepest shade in this little palette. This is called Soil. I'm gonna grab some of that with my eye shading brush. This one is the E55 from Sigma Beauty. Just packing my brush with that. And I'm gonna be placing it here along the outer V and dragging it into like halfway into the mobile lid area. So just starting here, patting it. The trick is to pat, honestly. That's the trick. You just want to pat the eyeshadow down where you want it. And I'm dragging it all the way up to the crease area. Gonna grab a little more. All right, next I'm taking my blending brush. This one is the E25 from Sigma Beauty, and I'm grabbing the lightest matte shade in this little palette. This is called Coin. Just grabbing a little bit of that. I'm gonna use this to blend the edge here. Now that I have the darker shade where I want it, I just use this lighter one to kind of just diffuse the edge and blend it out. And the trick with blending darker shadows into lighter shadows is just being really light-handed with it. That's all you've got to do. You just have to be really light-handed, blend out the edges that you still see, or blend out the spots that you still feel are not blended well enough, but do it very, very lightly and you won't have any issues. All right, so now that that's blended out, I'm going to grab this shade right here, which is Bronze Sage. I'm gonna grab that with my finger, like that. And I'm gonna apply it here along the inner corner and drag it into the mobile lid area. So just starting right here along the inner corner and then dragging it in, but not all the way, because I am gonna put a different shade right here. Next, I'm gonna take this shade here, which is called Sienna, grabbing that with my finger as well. And I'm gonna be placing this here along the center of the mobile lid area. So it's gonna overlap my darker shade here and my more bronzy shade here. I'm gonna take this up all the way to the crease. All right, next I'm gonna go back to my eye shading brush, the E55, grabbing a little bit more of the deepest shade, Soil here. And I'm gonna take this to deepen the outer V and kind of blend the shimmer shade into the outer V color. So once again, just going in very, very light-handed with this, especially since it's a deeper shade. If you go too heavy, then it's harder to fix. So just very light-handed, patting it on, blending this out so it doesn't leave me with such a harsh line of like where the shimmer shade ends and the matte shade begins. Just trying to mix this two together. All right, and then I'm going back in with Coin and the blending brush, just grabbing a little bit of that once again in order to blend this out even further, but just very, very light-handed with this. All right, the next thing that I'm gonna do in order to thicken the lash line is tight line. I still do this. I still like doing it. I enjoy what it does to the eyes. Like, it really, truly does transform the eye because it does give the appearance of a thicker lash line. So we're gonna do that right now. I'm just gonna take this winged liner brush. This is the E06 from Sigma. And I'm taking this gel liner, also from Sigma, in the shade Wicked. So it's just really like jet black shade. Just grabbing a little bit of that. I like tight lining with gel liners as opposed to pencils just because I feel like I'm not poking myself in the eye when I do it. It's a lot easier for me. So taking a little bit of that gel liner with this brush, and I'm simply going to pat underneath my lash line. And just like that, we've got a thicker lash line. See the difference? All right, next, lashes. I'm gonna be using my Tarte Lights Camera Lashes Mascara. I'm gonna be applying 2 coats of this. All right, so we're not quite done with the eyes, but let's move on to the face for now. I'm gonna be using my Professional Primer. This is a pore filling primer from Benefit. And I mainly concentrate this product here along the sides of my nose and here along the nose, just to really blur everything out. And so that my pores get filled. And when I apply foundation, it looks a lot smoother. So just taking a little bit of that and just pressing it into the skin right here. Next, let's color correct these dark circles. Just taking some of my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This one is in the shade Medium to Deep, and applying that. I try not to take this product too high up, like all the way up to the lash line. I try to keep it mainly concentrated here, the inner corner, and just here along the outer perimeter of the under eye darkness, just simply because I don't want anything to settle into my fine lines. And the fine lines are like right underneath your lash line. So the less product that you apply onto the fine lines, the less product that's going to settle, right? All right, next, foundation. I'm taking my Dior Forever foundation. I have the shade 2W. I really love it. I love the smell of this foundation. I know not everybody does, but it's just, to me, I love it. I love it. And I love it even more because this is a foundation that I purchased. It was like one of like the first really high-end foundations that I decided to purchase. And it was like years ago. It was when they had their old formula. And then I realized that they discontinued it. And I was like really bummed out because I loved the scent. I loved the coverage. I just loved everything about it. And then when they brought it back last year, I believe it was last year. I think last year or the year before. Anyway, they reformulated it and they have 2 different versions of this. One that's like more dewy and this one that's more matte. I was so happy. I was so happy to see that they brought it back. Anyway, applying this onto the face using my multitasker brush from Sigma. I love this brush so much. It is so soft. It applies everything kind of like a beauty blender would. So really, really nice and even. It just gives you like that really beautiful finish. Look at that. I love this foundation. I love this brush. I'm using a lot of stuff that I just really love for this look. All right, next, concealer. This is my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade 35H, the same one that I used on the eyes. That's what I'm gonna use underneath the eyes. Just applying a little bit here and a little bit here. You really don't need a lot of this. It's like so good. This is a concealer that I don't think I will ever get tired of. I think that I will always have this Shape Tape in my top drawer ready to go. It's one that I constantly come back to. And I believe that Tarte just launched a like creamy version of this. I did not get it. They were launching it through QVC. I ordered it, but I ordered the wrong shade. And by the time I went back, by the time I realized, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go back, order the right shade. They were sold out of the right shade, this shade. So I wasn't able to get my hands on the creamy one, the right shade of the creamy formula. So I'm waiting until they launch it through like either Ulta, because Sephora doesn't carry the Shape Tape. So it's exclusive to Ulta. So I'm waiting until it launches there, or if it launches on their website, I will be the first one to get it at that point again, but to get the right shade this time. I grabbed light medium honey, thinking it was medium honey, because when I ordered it, it was so early in the morning that I was still kind of a little bit asleep. And yeah, I made that mistake. So that's why I haven't filmed that video yet, is because I have the wrong shade. Right, I'm gonna set it with my Pat McGrath Labs Under Eye Blurring Powder in the shade Medium. Just taking a little bit of that with my soft blend brush, the number 50 brush from Sigma Beauty, and setting everything in place. All right, now that the under eye area is done, let's go back to the eyes and finish those off. Finish everything underneath the eyes. So I'm gonna go back to my little palette once again, and I'm going to be taking the deepest shade, which is what, Soil, right? Yes, Soil. I'm gonna take that with my little pencil brush. This is the E30 from Sigma. Just grabbing a little bit of that. And I'm gonna be patting this underneath the lash line. And I'm gonna concentrate most of this here along the outer, like the outer 2/3 of the eye. Unless you want it to look really smoky, then bring it all the way to the inner corner. But I like keeping the deeper shades kind of like on the outside and then the lighter shades more on the inside. All right, next I'm gonna take Coin with the same pencil brush and then just blend those two shades together underneath the lower lash line. I'm gonna clean off my brush a little bit, and then I'm grabbing the center shade. This is Lumino, taking some of that with my pencil brush. And I'm gonna be applying this here along the inner corner. So I'm gonna start here along the bottom. I'm gonna drag it into the inner corner, and then drag it up. Like that. It's just gonna brighten the inner corner of the eye. All right, and one last thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that same shade. So what was this? Lumino. I'm gonna grab it with a clean blending brush. This is the E25, just grabbing a little bit of that. I'm gonna use that to highlight the brow bone up here. All right, and last but not least, mascara on the lower lashes. All right, for bronzer, I'm sticking with an oldie but goodie, the Hola bronzer from Benefit. Just taking a little bit of that with this Luxie Precision Foundation brush. This is a 660. I like it because of the shape. It just like really gets in there and you can blend it. It's tapered, so you can blend it up. You can blend it into the cheek. Like, I just really like it for that reason. It's really good for blending. So I'm just gonna apply it here and then take this up a little bit, just a little bit. I like that this shade from Hola, it has a little bit of grayness to it. And so that is perfect for like a contour shade, but it's also warm enough to where you can use it for bronzing as well. It's like a 2-in-1. Just bring it up here to the temple and then bring it down. I like to blend it, but I also like to press it into the skin. Just feel like I get a more precise application of the powder on the skin that way. I also like it because I can use this as blush. So not only is this like a bronzer and a contour shade, but if you drag it in just a little bit, it's your blush as well. Now as a highlighter, I'm taking my Too Faced Duo. This is the Papaya Pop. And I'm gonna take, obviously, this side. This is a really, really nice blush. I like it. It's like a baked blush in a way. You can combine the two. It looks really pretty, but I'm only going to take the highlighter side of this, and I'm placing it here along the high points of my cheek. Just a little bit. All right, now last but not least, the lips. I'm gonna start with my Juvia's Place Luxe Liner. This is in the shade So Rare. I love this shade so much. That's what it looks like right there. So I'm gonna use this to outline and to fill my lips just a little bit. All right, and I'm gonna top this off with Muted, also from Juvia's Place. This is their Velvet Lipstick. Looks like that. I love this shade so much. It's very hard for someone with my complexion or even deeper to find a really nice nude, like something that's truly nude on the lips. For me, I always find something that's like way too pink or way too like ashy, and it just looks not right. It looks like chalk on my lips. So I tend to not want to purchase nude lipsticks. However, I have gotten pretty lucky in finding quite a few that suit my complexion and that look like true nude lipsticks on me. This being one of them. I love it so much. And then finishing the look off with some Stay Spray. So that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this makeup tutorial and that you found it helpful. Don't forget, you can swap out the lips for like something red and something festive, like a deep red or like a traditional like holiday red lip. And I think that would look amazing with this little palette. Like that would pair so well with this palette. So you can make this a holiday look. You can keep it like a simple glam like I did, which is like the eyes are just, and then the lips are just very more toned down, right? More nude. Just have fun with it. I love making these videos for you guys. I love it when you guys request a makeup tutorial because that is just, it takes me back to a simpler time of YouTube. That's when I first fell in love with YouTube, when I first discovered beauty videos like that. It was it. That was it for me. So I really like making these. I hope you guys enjoy watching them. I know that these tend to not get very many views, but I'm okay with that because I really just, I love filming them for you guys. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you guys. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.